Utah politics.
Thanks so much for joining us. I'm Glenn Mills. It is time to go inside Utah politics. We do begin this morning with an important conversation on the VA PACT Act. For that, we welcome to the show Chris Hawley, Amy Waite, and Terry Scow. Great to have all of you here. It's been a while since we've had 3 guests on the show, so congratulations, I guess. It's been years, I think.
Thank you.
So great to have all of you here. This is a really important conversation. First off, let's define the VA PACT Act. What is it?
Oh, I'm sorry. So the PACT Act creates presumptive conditions for toxic exposure that occurred in Vietnam, for Vietnam veterans, for post 9/11 veterans, and for Gulf War veterans. And what the PACT Act does, because of the presumptive conditions, it eliminates a lot of the burden on veterans to prove that they were exposed. So if you're in one of the locations that we list, and we say that you were exposed to it, then we will automatically grant the condition for the PACT Act.
Amy, go ahead.
If it's a presumptive condition.
Okay. Amy, we might have talked about this already in that answer, but talk about who's eligible.
Yeah, of course. So for eligibility, we're really looking at all veterans who served in areas of combat for post 9/11, Agent Orange veterans or Vietnam veterans, Korean War veterans, and anyone post 9/11, all the way pretty much from 90s up until current, for veterans who served overseas and were exposed in either theater combat or also just in garrison.
Okay, Chris, how specifically will this work to benefit veterans? Specifically, what are the benefits?
So the benefits, it opens up a wide range of benefits for veterans to include their health care, health care for their dependents. It can open up a lot of education benefits for their dependents. There's also a birth defects and spina bifida program we have for dependents for folks that were exposed to Agent Orange. And it can also pay benefits to spouses whose husbands or spouses passed away from an Agent Orange presumptive.
Okay, Terry, the 3 of you are here together working on this, and you work together, you describe it to me as a 3-legged stool. Talk about how the 3 of you worked together to try to implement this and get veterans signed up for the benefits they've earned.
Exactly, happy to do it. The medical center obviously provides a healthcare piece of it. The regional office, Chris's office, they process the claims, and so the claims will go in. I serve, since I've retired, as a service officer with the American Legion, so we talk to veterans and their families. We take the claims, then we forward them to Chris's folks, and they process the claims. Being enrolled or receiving VA compensation automatically allows them to enroll in VA healthcare. So that 3-legged stool kind of helps everybody.
Someone may look at that and think it might be a little overwhelming, but what would your advice be to them?
Well, see, a service officer, I mean, hopefully you'll have a little blurb at the end, but the American Legion, who I'm with, and I help out the DAV some as well, VFW and the State Veterans Office all have service officers who will help a veteran and or their family for free. There's no charge to do this. And so I think the easiest way to do it is to go through a service officer because it can be rather overwhelming.
Yeah. Do you have anything to add to that?
Yeah, actually, for healthcare side of it, definitely we're looking for veterans to get enrolled, whether they have a service connection or not yet, to get enrolled into our program so that they can receive their toxic exposure screenings. And that's really important for PACT Act and getting everyone involved in that exposure-informed care.
Chris, we were talking a little bit before the show started about the numbers we're seeing. Higher nationally than what we're seeing in the state of Utah. Give us an idea of what we're looking at there.
So nationally, we've received about 680,000 claims, and we processed about half of those, and for about $1.2 billion worth of benefit. In the state of Utah, we've reached about 4,000 claims, and we've processed about 1,900 of those for about $8.3 million. It's really important that we get veterans to apply. A lot of veterans were denied years and years and years ago. Well, the rules have all changed. And the presumptives really allow us to grant conditions much quicker and much easier. The grant rate for us is 80.8%, which is huge. So we're really encouraging veterans to get out there and do it. And if they don't do it for themselves, do it for their family members and for other veterans. Because the way the PACT Act works is we will collect data on every condition that they apply for, whether they're presumptive or not. And we will do data mining, and so there'll be another wave of presumptives. What a presumptive does is it shows that veterans have a condition at a higher level than they would have in the general population, and so we can presume that that exposure is what caused their ailment. So please apply for everything, and we'll do more data mining, and there'll probably be another wave of presumptive conditions. So do it for your fellow veteran.
Okay, so we talk about that there are likely more people out there who are eligible. So this is really a call to action to reach out and see if the three of you and others obviously can help. So those sitting at home thinking maybe this will be for me and maybe it can help out, what would you say to them?
Well, I would say if the numbers are up there, Glenn, if you have a member of your family who's served in the Middle East, Iraq, Afghanistan, Gulf War, even Vietnam, as we said earlier, because a lot of this is tied to exposure to Agent Orange. Laos, Cambodia, Thailand, those are all bases where Agent Orange was at. So even though they may not have served in Vietnam, if they were exposed to it in these other countries, they'd be eligible. So I think our plea today is if you've got family members or friends who serve in the military, we ask them to reach out to us, or certainly the VA at the 1-800-827-1000 is a VA number. And the registry is important too, Glenn. We want people to do the Agent Orange registry. We want them to do, what do you call it, the PACT Act, or what's
The Airborne Hazards and Open Burn Pits.
Yeah, the airborne, say that 3 times. But anyway, but the VA has registries for both Agent Orange and for environmental exposure, and we want folks to go in and apply for that.
Okay, let's talk about the real life struggles that you see on the front lines. The three of you see that all the time. Give us a picture. What are the types of things veterans that are suffering with these ailments, what are they dealing with? How does it impact their lives? Amy?
Definitely, yeah. One of the ones that I see a lot with my Vietnam veterans when they come in is having, this is new for them, new presumptives, and being denied in the past, and they're coming with the toxic exposure screen and saying, hey, I was exposed, I just want to be heard. And helping them get that care and that care pathway, and helping them get connected with resources within the hospital, within the VBA, VSOs. It's amazing to me that everyone can feel like they're being heard and getting taken care of, especially with our Vietnam vets who've had, prostate cancers, hypertension. These types of things are new presumptive conditions that weren't there before. So this opens up a whole new realm for them, and they cannot be more thankful that we're here doing this.
Awesome, love that. Chris, there are important deadlines coming up. Talk about those.
So the PACT Act was signed 10 August 22. If you get your claim in by 10 August 23, we can backdate your claim to the date the president signed the bill, which is huge. After that date, we can't do that anymore. We'll still accept claims and continue to process them, but you're giving up a huge chunk of change if you don't get it in by the 10th of August. So we're really pushing hard for 10 August.
All right, Terry, talk about the importance of this act and why it's important to extend this branch to those who have served our country.
Well, for many years, many veterans have struggled with respiratory problems, and because Congress had not approved certain conditions, they were not deemed to be what's called presumptive. Agent Orange is presumptive for service in Vietnam, and the respiratory issues are now deemed to be presumptive. And so the Congress and the VA both have now made it easier for veterans to apply, and we certainly want them to do it because, respiratory problems are a significant problem for these folks, and so we want them to get their applications in.
Okay, and I want to go ahead and pull up that number one more time because that's what you need to know right there. The VA hotline, 800-827-1000. Call that for more information on how to take advantage of these benefits. Really appreciate the three of you for being here. Thanks so much.
Thank you.
It's our honor.
All right, my honor to have you as well. Okay, still